Let me say there are several questions on the same topic, so I will not ask those. I will, since they are all asking essentially the same thing. The next question is, why and on what basis do you refer to, quote, LifeSpring, unquote, as therapy cult?
LifeSpring is an interesting history. LifeSpring, Est, and PsyWorld all grew out of the same organization. That is William Penpatrick's Mind Dynamics, or leadership training. Penpatrick worked with Werner Erhard, really his name is Jack Rosenberg, who founded Est, and John Hanley, who started LifeSpring. And they had this thing called the pit. And the leadership training was to put the person in the middle of a circle, see what they could do to break that one. Basically, the goal of LifeSpring, as many of those mass therapy groups, is really to break the person. Some people do feel a kind of freeing. Some people do feel a kind of freeing from the Dianetic auditing that Hubbard suggests. But it can be harmful to people. I object strenuously to their not telling you what's going to happen to you. I think I would have absolutely no problem with it if they would say up front, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is what's going to happen to you. And if you want to have that done, fine.
Do sharecroppers meet the criteria for, quote, commercial cult, unquote? After all, the crew chief dependence relationship exists, between quotes. If not, where is that the distinction? In short, isn't an army a cult by your broadly inclusive definition?
There are similarities throughout life. Sharecroppers, yes, it's possible. There's manipulation there. In the army, yes, there is manipulation. You have to take a young man who has probably only stepped on a few ants in his life and turn that person into someone who will defend their country and die for it. There has to be manipulation.
Have you researched Scientology's attempts to get a foothold in science fiction?
Not really, but I have had some people tell me that they were required to buy enormous supplies of battlefield earth to make it look as though they were really selling very, very well.
What is the connection between Scientology and the Writers of the Future contest? Okay, I don't know, maybe there was something I didn't realize. What is the origin of the word Dianetics? What is the American St. Hill organization, if you know the answer to that?
I don't know the origin of the word Dianetics. The American St. Hill organization is just another one of Scientology's organizations. There are so many of them now. But it's one of the auspices. They give courses under the American St. Hill organization.
They do the advanced stuff there.
That's right. They do the advanced stuff there. Thank you.
Is Parsons the same that supported Frank Melina, the founder of JPL? Yes?
I'm from New York.
Yes.
He is?
Yes. Thank you very much. That's good.
They don't tell you what you're getting into.
Who runs Scientology today, and do they pay income taxes?
No, they do not pay income taxes, and as far as we can tell, it's Pat and Annie Broker and David Miscavige who are primarily the ones running Scientology.
There is one question I cannot read, so I will avoid it because too many words are missing that I can decipher. How much money does it take to attain the highest level?
How much money do you want to spend? Thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. I was just looking at a brochure, and 12 and a half hours of intensive auditing are $10,000 for each 12 and a half hour block. And it's really very, very, very expensive. I spoke with a young woman who had been in Scientology for 10 years. She'd gotten off pretty cheap. She had spent $30,000, and she had not risen to the OT3 level, and my telling her OT3 over the telephone was the first time that she'd ever heard it.
And the last question is creationist a destructive cult?
Not per se, but I would like to, as long as you've given me the platform, just a few minutes. There is a segment of the fundamentalist movement which we call shepherding. In shepherding, no man, no woman, especially no woman, can lead their life without an elder, a guide, a cover, a shepherd to tell them what to do. And in many, many of the groups, this becomes very quickly very abusive, and the elder tells the person what to do 24 hours a day. And in these groups, the elder has an elder who has an elder who has an elder, and it's a very neat pyramid, and it is very excellent for control. That is why these guys can turn out in elections so quickly. All they need to get in touch with is the man at the top, and some of the men at the top control 12 churches, and you can turn out the votes. So, no, it's not a destructive cult, but there are segments of it that are, and they are well mobilized. And I thank you.
We got to just stop the press. Last question. What actually goes on inside the building on Sunset Boulevard, and why are they wearing uniforms?
There are all kinds of auditing sessions for hours. You know, you sit across the table from somebody, you hold on to the cans, and the meter does this, and you are asked question after question after question. People live there and take Scientology courses. The significance of the uniforms, when Hubbard took to the sea, he began dressing his people in uniforms. I guess his dream was always to be the Commodore, and now he's the Admiral of his own Navy. And he just dressed them that way out of preference. I thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to thank Priscilla Coates for a superb session, and this sets the kind of standards we've been trying to maintain. Before our final statement, Al, do you like to say something?
I would hope that you come and visit our book table, because we have lots of new titles, including just a few limited copies, hard to obtain, of L. Ron Hubbard, Messiah or Madman. And you can read about it all here. And lots of great stuff. I would like to say that the Caltech, in supporting the skeptics monthly at these, in our lecture series, asked us to have our speaker meet with the Caltech students and faculty at 4 o'clock. And for those members of you who it is unfortunately open to just Caltech students and faculty and staff, it will be in Club Room 1 at 4 o'clock. And we welcome you there. There will be refreshments. Okay, but please visit our literature table. Take the information on the skeptics.
1 second, please. I'd like to say one more final comment. The skeptics, the Southern California skeptics, have reached the level of interest and support because of people like Al Seckel and Pat Lindsay and all the volunteers. I'd like to thank them for their effort. Thank you, and the session is over.